And our speaker for this session is Head of Facebook Creative Shop India and Global Accounts, Asia Pacific, Juhi Kalia. Please join me in welcoming Juhi to the stage. All yours, Juhi.
Hi, good afternoon. Last session. Good evening. Can I have my presentation, please? It's on. Okay, you know who I am. I'm going to place this first. I'm stuck. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. So you're going to have for the next few minutes a very small person talk to you about very big shifts that are happening in our industry. What are they? This is a fact, we are so content rich right now and attention poor. And that's not changing anytime soon. It's only going to get worse. More and more phones with cameras, and everyone's creating. Did you know that we consume the equivalent of 174 newspapers a day? That's just insane. Just to stop and think about that, it's insane. The other thing that's happening is, because of this, our attention span is at 8 seconds. I'm not making this up. This is not on Facebook. This is a fact. There's research around this that says human beings now have the attention span of 8 seconds. That's one less than a goldfish. So we're struggling. If you're in the creative industry, it is hard. It is really hard to catch my attention and to keep it. The good news is that the brain is evolving. And I'm a little bit of a science geek. I've done a lot of reading about this. And there is research that shows that our brains are rewiring. You know, you'll notice this in children, the way they adapt to technology and the way, natives versus old people like me. Our brain is evolving, even us. There is hope for old people too. It rewires. And they found that, for instance, it takes a quarter of a second to register something, to remember it. That's happening simply because of the way we are consuming content, how much of it we are drowning in, and how connected we are all the time. The other piece of good news, I'm going to show you this what did you see? Yes, VIX. What else? Anybody's? 8 hours. Excellent. Job done. That was up for like less than a second, right? You saw that. You got that. You got the brand. You got that something about 8 hours. So it's not all bad. This is what it really is. This is a simple little post. It's an ad that it's nice to enjoy it, but it took you just a quarter of a second to register it. The other big shift is that consumption is no longer linear. What's happening is because we have the option, we love customizing stuff. People are doing it on their apps on their home screen. The option to customize has suddenly become available. And again, then as a result of that, are we customizing our creatives enough? I guess that's where I'm going with this. The second thing that's happening is that it's frequent behavior and it's fast, right? These are the three things that are happening in terms of how people consume not just ads, but any kind of content on their phones. 70% of the people are on phones. So when we're talking, we're not even talking desktop anymore. We only think phones. Another thing that's happening, and this is also encouraging, is that mobile viewing is evolving to fit into our lives. So there are no black and whites. There is no such thing that, oh, it should be this many seconds or that many seconds. The truth is, when we're on the go, when we're waiting for a train, when we have 5 sort of minutes to spare, then I'll consume content that is short and sweet and quick, that I can get through. So short videos, cinemagraphs, GIFs work great over there. When I'm leaning forward, and this is similar to what Google says, right? When you're searching for something, that's a lean forward mode. There, I am interacting with you because of what I feel like doing. So I'm choosing to lean forward. In that case, I can serve you and I can show you content that's a little more immersive, that's about engagement and enjoyment. I can do 360 videos fit right here and things like that. And then there is lean back mode, which is, this, when you have enough time, maybe you put your kids to sleep and you have 1 hour to yourself. That's where you might commit to something longer. So because we always have our phones with us, the way we consume content on the phone is we are adapting and it's fitting into the way we live our lives. We are evolving to be visual first. We always were very visual. Human beings are visual. I'm a writer by trade, but the truth is, it's in our reptilian brain. We're visual people. We react visually to everything faster. It was an evolutionary thing. You see a saber-toothed tiger and you run. You don't talk about it. You just run as soon as you see it. So we're evolving to be visual first. And the truth is, the brain processes visual 60,000 times faster than text. You can have the most beautiful copy, but a visual communicates 60,000 times faster. And last bit of geekiness, and then I promise I'll stop this science stuff, but it gets coded in your long-term memory, visuals, versus language, which is short-term. So what this means is that when you use visuals powerfully, creative people in the room, when we use visuals, and we've known this forever, it's great. Print advertising is visual, great television. It works cognitively as well as emotionally. It catches my attention, helps me understand something, and it makes me feel more. That's what the power of visuals is. Nice visuals, beautiful visuals communicate things. They connect attitudes, emotions. So what we say always is, have a great script, have text, but optimize for, my presentation's running faster than I am. It's a sign I should speak up faster. Visuals, interesting ways to optimize the screen. It is a small screen, and it's not as big as a TV, but it's relative to distance. So the screen does become bigger. And there are ways to maximize the real estate so that it really hits you and it really makes it impactful. Optimize for movement. Again, our brain reacts to motion. When something is standing still, you almost don't see it, but when I start moving violently like this, you notice. So small things like this, and optimizing for movement is a simple thing there's fun ways to do it. These could have been static, but It's great. When they're moving, your eye is just drawn to it. I call these moving posters. For me, this is like the new print ads of today. You know, we used to make print ads in the newspaper, and suppose it's buried on page 22 and I didn't see it. But if it's in my feed, I'm gonna see it. Make it move a little bit. It's awesome. It's great fun, and they're simple to do. That's the poster. Make it move. It catches your attention and looks beautiful. The other shift that's happening is that different apps, when you engage with different apps, they elicit different mindsets and perceptions. So I might be in a different mood when I'm on Instagram versus Facebook. And we know this, different behavior. So to take advantage of that is a smart thing to do. For instance, we know Instagram is a place where people go when they feel like getting some inspiration. They go for discovery. They go for transportation. And creativity, definitely. That's a fun one. Facebook is where people come for connection and recognition. So it's just a really different space that I'm in emotionally when I'm interacting and when I decide that I'm going to be on this. So keeping that very conscious awareness of what people are feeling and what mood they're going to be in, and therefore how would you talk to them, is useful. They're both about community for sure, and hardcore communities sometimes. Really, really big fans and strong interests. Great creative, however, irrespective of what platform it's on or which app it is on, great creative is still just great creative, you know. So we get this, I get this asked a lot and say, you know, should we do different stuff for Instagram? Should we do something else on Facebook? Yes and no, maybe, but the answer is really this, which is when you do something great, it's going to work across both platforms. What is it? It's what we've always known and done. It's on-brand stuff, it's concept-driven, it's well-crafted. Craft becomes even more critical because there's a I don't remember the statistic off the top of my head, but when you put the same ad on Instagram, there's a halo effect of aesthetics. People think that it is more tasteful. It was the exact same ad. So that's the power of that platform, of how aesthetically well-crafted it is and what brands can use. This is something, you know, in my time at Facebook, I've had to unlearn. We work with a lot of agencies, and this is the one thing that we say again and again, because this has been the hardest for us as well, for me, after so many years in advertising, which is when Facebook and Instagram started, with social media. Great. It'll always be social, but it is also media. So, you know, when we think of ideas and we think of creativity and we talk about, we think social, and then can I make this go viral? Will it get shared? Will it get liked? That's fine. That's a little bit 1984, actually. Media is where, how can I crack an idea that is made for feed, that is built, designed for mobile, put investment behind it, put a proper media plan, combine the magic of great creative, solid media, and measurement, and put that out, the chances of your ad being a success are much more huge, right? So really just changing that mindset a little bit. I'm not saying we shouldn't do work that isn't social, because inherently the platform is social. So it is a place where people like to talk, share, sure. But I wish we were doing more of the media work, because it's a reach aggregator. We reach so many people, and yet we're still having these conversations where creative people are thinking more viral and not enough what's an idea that is made for the phone. I'll play this. You must have seen it, but it's one of my favorites.
Du bleu, du rouge, du jaune, du vert, du blanc, du rose, du noir, du mauve. Je veux de la couleur. Jaune, rouge, vert. Je veux de la couleur. Jaune, rouge, vert. Je veux de la couleur. Fresh, pop. Je veux de la couleur. Fresh.
Like England, London. Are you serious?
Fresh, pop. Je veux de la couleur.
Right. Okay, let's do it.
Je veux de la couleur. Je veux de la couleur sur mes mains, je veux de la couleur dans ma vie, je veux de la couleur dans mes nuits, je veux de la couleur dans tes yeux, je veux de la couleur sur mes mains, je veux de la couleur dans ma vie, je veux de la couleur dans mes nuits. la couleur jaune.
Excuse me, man, can you please turn the music down?
Do you want to go on a boat?
Yeah.
Do you want me to organise a boat?
Yeah, can you?
Je veux de la couleur sur mes mains, je veux de la couleur dans ma vie, je veux de la couleur dans mes nuits, je veux de la couleur dans tes yeux, je veux de la couleur sur mes mains, je veux de la couleur dans ma vie, je veux de la couleur dans mes nuits, je veux de la couleur dans tes yeux, je veux de la couleur, 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 je veux de la couleur.
I love that. And obviously, we're seeing a slick, finished, edited case study. But the beauty of this idea is that it happened in real time. And that's what you can do on Facebook and on a mobile phone, right? So in real time, this is how it literally played out, right? If you could follow him and you could see how messed up he was. Every place he went to, there was content that was created. Not only that, so this was all done in real time across the 5 days. And then he went live, which is awesome. So you get more content. So he goes live from each and every place at different points in his journey. He used Facebook Live to talk about what he was feeling and how messed up he was or whatnot.
Still spit the hot sauce, my flow.
I love the feeling that you're giving me.
I'm just on my square, just trying to master my cipher.
Hands up, everybody, hands up, 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 up. Again.
That's Instagram Stories. Has anyone used Instagram Stories so far? Oh, wow. That's encouraging because I just made my first one, so that's a lot of hands. So the thing with Stories for the rest of us is that you can tap left, it goes back, you tap forward, so you can tap like that, and it's not mute. The audio plays unlike ads on feed. So it's really interactive and playful just to take that simple functionality which we know and to turn that into a little bit of an interactive DJ on your little phone. So simple, not rocket science, and fun. The other thing we say that, if you've got a big idea, as we always should have, then that idea travels. So in the old days, we used to do, 360 campaign meant print, TV, Facebook. Now when we say 360, for us sometimes, yes, print, TV, Facebook. But on Facebook, you can do multiple things because that's a good plan. So to mix and match your assets.
Check this out.
So that was a live from the fashion show. And then they made a bot. And it was Gigi Hadid. She was the bot. And a bot would talk to you, tell you about what was happening. So imagine the combination of this. First you go live from the fashion show, then you have a bot. And the thing with the bot is it opens up on your messenger, which means that the kind of interaction and more than 22,000 messages exchanged over 3 weeks. 4 minutes, 39 seconds is the time spent on the bot. And because the bot was built well, people came back. So a lot of people actually came back to talk, and products worth $59,000 were bought on a. I'll show you one more really cool thing in this whole campaign, which was a shoppable video. Very cool. So the video plays Facebook as well as Instagram, and you can shop via a link. Whatever you saw on the runway, you could instantly just buy it on your phone. So you saw it on the live, you could buy it, you could take exactly the same pair of pants and say, I love that jacket, I want it, and right now, I can buy it. So this is like a full funnel, what we call a full funnel, right? I raised awareness, I said brand Tommy, and then 360 videos like this. Just an immersive experience, like you couldn't go there, but you feel like you're there.
Say what you want, like it or not, I'ma keep on dancing. Don't gotta be right, don't gotta be wrong.
Okay, so a mix of different assets makes for an amazing combination. The beautiful thing about, so in the old, we used to say direct response, DR, you know, your mailers. This is the new mailer because this is as individual but with scale, right? So everyone's feed is different. My feed reflects who I am. Millennials look different. 20 to 30-year-olds, mums, everyone's got different clusters of different feeds. Knowing this and using this, knowing this is something we've all known for a while. We know it, it's a fact. But when we marry this with creativity, which is if I can customize the same thing and talk to you and you and you in a different way, it becomes so much more relevant because you're talking to me like a mom, you get me, right? And it's not 50,000 copies of a mailer. We're talking scale here. You can reach tons of people. So the same ad for Vanish, when it talks to women, it could be something else. When you're talking to mom, it could be that. It's the same visual device. So we find like-minded people. We've always talked about this in advertising, psychographics and creating clusters, understanding them, putting a little texture around it. They're not just numbers, right? These are people just like us. What motivates them? What is precious to them? What makes them cry and laugh? And then creating for these like-minded people and delivering to them. So the strawberries never know what the banana saw, you know? I give you a quick little preview of something. So this is a Felix is a cat food out of Europe. And this was one cluster that they'd created, and sentimental, kitschy, mainstream. And the big insight was a woman who likes long walks, I love my cat because I recognize myself in her. Quite sad, but let's not judge. This is the ad that was served to her. It was cute, it was warm and sweet, and it says even the most relaxed cats get up on its legs with Felix. And then people who can still buy cat food, fun hunters, 5.2 million of them. There are these bros who like football and hip hop and hot chicks. My cat is the coolest creature I know, was there in sight, right? And this is the ad that was served to them. It says, the force is strong with these cats. So there were 9 such clusters. We created 9 clusters, and we had, the ads themselves are not, I don't think they're the most beautiful, amazing, award-winning ads, but the point that I wanted to make really was that you could do great stuff if you customize and serve different ads to different feeds. And it doesn't cost that much. Let's create immersive experiences. I want to show you this. It's a beautiful, it's a great cause. This is for when migrants landed in Germany, and they were having a lot of, not Germany, sorry, France. They were having trouble getting through the bureaucracy of the system. So this is what we call a carousel, and this is storytelling done in a linear way like this. It's all in French, but so the copy says, help him move ahead, okay? So because you have to swipe a carousel. And when you do, you see the next part of his journey. So it's almost this illusion of me participating. All I'm doing is swiping, but because you put a creative idea on it, which is help him move ahead, move ahead, move ahead, you feel like you are participating in his story, and it becomes, in a simple carousel, this is our most basic format. It becomes so much more powerful when you put a creative lens on it. Another way, this is something we've done recently with Karat out of APAC. And it's an ad for, I'll let it play. So this was a full campaign for basically a promo they were running, and they wanted to say for hardcore fans. So I don't know, soccer fans in the room, all cricket, a few. So you can imagine if you won a trip to go to Old Trafford and stand on that ground and be able to so that was the prize. And we did a full campaign. I won't play all of it for you, where there were videos and there was lots of stuff. But this is the first 360 that we shot ourselves. So at different points in the pitch, different moments of history and epic sort of moments and players came up and were visible to you.
And he flicks it into the path of Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney for Manchester United. The captain delivers Ibrahimovic and he's back. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Another special occasion.
So this, if you're a fan, this is the most amazing. Like if I don't win and I don't get to go, to be able to be on your phone and look down at the grass and look up into the stands and discover all the moments that have ever played out in this historic stadium, that's an immersive experience which you can't have on any other medium. This was our first 360, and we were so excited because it's hard to do 360 as it is, but then to combine static shots with cinemagraphs and things like that. So it was a really great learning experience. But the other thing that's possible now, so social, I dissed social so much earlier, but there are ways in which we can do social beyond just sharing and liking. The way it is social because there's millions of people on the platform at the same time, right? Your friends are there, you are there. How can we use this to create real-time experiences? This next one's using Facebook Live, done by Mini Cooper. So this is live with... I'm not going to talk over the whining car. There we go. So this is live, Facebook Live with polling, which means while it's being broadcast live, I can vote by pressing the reaction buttons. So what they did really was they gamified it. They had a little car race in which millions of people participated. It was little minis, and you could make the red one win if you pressed the heart. You could make the orange one win if you pressed the like, and so on. And millions of people watched this, spent time with this, engaged with the brand, and had fun. And it's a simple way. So it's almost like a million people played a game together, right? So there are ways to do social in a really powerful way beyond just sharing something and passing it on. Hyper-personalization. So I showed you, we talked about the Felix cat food, and every feed is different. I'm going to play one example for you, and it's from Instagram. Okay.
The Sydney Opera House is a wonderful building and a wonderful location in a beautiful city. I think I would always say, come on in, have a look inside, because this is where it all happens.
I was on my way in to meet some friends today. I just
took a photo of the Opera House and I posted on Instagram, and then
He called me a tourist for doing it.
and then all of a sudden I got a notification that I had something on there, and
got a comment from the Opera House and they're like, hey, do you want to
come on in for this awesome experience? And I was like, whoa, are they talking to me?
They said our names, which was like kind of cool.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Gary Fiona. G'day, Doctor's Kitchen.
Hi, Katie. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Monica and Leah.
Hi, Nadia.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, Kat. Love your photograph of the Sydney Opera House.
Why don't you come on in? Why don't you come on in? Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in. Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in. Come on in and see what happens inside.
We were greeted by a lovely lady at the door, and we learnt some contortionist tricks and some hula hooping tricks. It was so cool.
They sat me with the best view probably in the world and gave me an amazing dessert, and it was phenomenal. I was a bit shell-shocked.
We've seen the magic flute today. I loved it. And then afterwards we came up on stage and met some of the main characters. Bruce was amazing. He was our tour guide. He showed us bits and pieces of the Opera House that I would have never seen if I didn't come in. I tried on a bunch of costumes, and then I got the chance to roam around all the old sets, so it was amazing.
We won 2 free tickets and a backstage tour, and then we listened to his rehearsal.
You post pictures and you're not expecting to get anything out of it, and then when you've got the Opera House coming in saying, hey, come on in, it was really exciting.
You come inside and you're like, this is what it's all about. The design and everything. It's just so beautiful.
I would definitely encourage more people to come down to the Opera House.
You forget that they do all sorts of different cool things.
So that was basically people take pictures of the Opera House and they hashtag it. That's the most touristy thing to do. So they searched for that hashtag and instantly served a personalized ad that said, hey, Emma, come on in. You took a nice photo. Why don't you come on inside and see it? That's hyper-personalization in real time. That's just really cool, right? And speaking of hashtags, I have a few for you. Facebook Awards are open. Please enter. This is my plug. And we'd love to see some really, really great creative work on it. And there is a booth outside. You can hashtag it whatever you want. There's a Facebook booth. You can take really cool pictures there. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Juhi. Customization, personalization, that's the name of the game, and endless possibilities. Please have a seat, Juhi. That was a great session. May I now invite onto stage CEO, Sakal Group, Pradeep Dwivedi, who will moderate the question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Dwivedi.
Wow, that was exhilarating, Juhi. How do you do all that? I mean, it just feels like, we've been plugged into Matrix, and we are like a Neo who never knew they were there, and all of this is happening right around them. I mean, this seems like a version of the world that is completely different from what any one of us has experienced in the creative industry. This is cutting-edge stuff. How does it make you feel, and how do you make people excited about it? I'm excited, but how do you get the crowds excited about it?
It used to be cutting edge stuff.
All right, so maybe I'm getting old.
This is all real work. A lot of this is work done by us, by agencies, and we're doing more and more of it with Ogilvy here, Publicis, and you start small, you start with the basics, and then you get that right, and then you say, hey, let's do a 360, and then let's do something else. And the fundamentals are pretty much the same, which is, actually it doesn't take very long to learn the formats and the technology and the science. That sounds scary, but it's not. It's really simple because at the end of the day, we're all creative people, and it's just good ideas, nicely crafted, good stories. That doesn't matter where it is. It's still, that's what matters.
The creative process.
Yeah.
Folding forward.
I mean, in fact, we say don't chase a format, chase an idea, so do good work on all of this stuff. Just take 20 minutes. I'm going to do one thing. We have this thing called Creative Hub. You can Just search for it, Creative Hub, Facebook Creative Hub, there's a link. Agencies can use it to just play. You can see a preview of if you made something, what it would look, and it instantly sends you a little preview to your phone. And it sounds complex. I figured it out in 5 minutes, and I'm really not good at that stuff. So it's easy to use. You can see it on your phone, and you go, wow, and you can send the link to your clients. And they can comment on it, and you revise it, and you send it back. It's like Photoshop for Facebook in a way, but it comes on a private timeline.
So
Long
Facebook
answer.
Hub it is, right?
Creative Hub, Facebook Creative Hub.
Creative Hub.
It's made for creatives.
So it's wonderful. So just one more thing that I wanted to understand. Now, you spoke a lot about science of cognitive understanding and comprehension. I actually had a question on that. You know, as companies are coming into the new millennial audiences and new millennial consumers, they are evolving to meet the expectations of those consumers. And you work as a creative house, along with creative agencies and on your own as well with them. How do you rationalize the cognitive dissonance of legacy established marketers who have seen a certain way of working and are now trying to come to terms with this whole new universe of audience that does not seem to get the traditional modes of advertising, but seems to be absolutely with it when it comes to technology-led solutions like you provide? So how do you hit at the mindset of a marketer is what I'm trying to understand, and how do you make them do this quantum shift into what you're marketing really?
So there's the whole ecosystem is there are marketers, there are agencies who do fantastic work, they build brands, they have for many years. And I think everyone is at different points in the curve. There are people who are they get it, and they are using it, they are working with it, they're getting better and better at it, and then leaning in. And there are people who are still sort of fighting it a little bit. They need more love, more convincing, more persuasion, but at different points in the curve there are people, and so if you almost think of it like there are different audiences, right? You figure out where this person is on the journey, and you then help to explain and understand, and that's what we do. We do a lot of sessions, we do a lot of co-creation, and we do a lot of sort of what we call hacks, which is you get in a room for 1 hour and say, let's work on this together, and we'll show you. And for marketeers, actually, the proof is simple because you can see instantly if it works or it doesn't, because you've got metrics and you're so, yeah.
Right. So do you end up competing with creative marketing agencies that are in the digital space as well? Or you see yourself only let's say a facilitator or an enabler of their capabilities? Because I mean, if you look at it, between Google and Facebook, I mean, if I'm not wrong, over 80% of the digital spends are, kind of clocked in. And yet you have an agency ecosystem in digital marketing that is trying to expand the pie, of course, but also get a larger share of the business flowing through them. So this whole process of intermediation gives them a certain position. And here you are probably breaking that whole intermediation and going directly to the clients, as well as trying to work with them. So how does this compete and collaborate balance work for you?
Yeah, so I've been in advertising for 20 years. I have huge empathy. I will always be an advertising person, right? I was on the other side till just about a year ago, so I totally get it. I have a lot of empathy. So for that, exactly this is my brand, I'm building it, who the hell are you? And which is exactly why we keep saying this. Creative Shop is not an agency. We're not an agency. There's 4 of us, quite literally. So we don't either have the bandwidth, nor we are tasked with the simple job of making sure that all this amazing, cool stuff that's possible, given the platform. It's like when TV had just been invented. It's 1941, the first ad was made, I remember. And imagine at that time, you're sitting on the cusp of that. No one's made a beautiful ad that is more than 5 seconds. No one's made reality TV yet. No one's done any of that, right? So we're sort of in that space with this medium. So what it needs is, all the creative people in the world to start to sort of explore, play, make stuff, even if it's not working great, do it better next time. But to make creative, we need the whole ecosystem. You know, I'm just being very, very frank. The truth is, I can't do it. So what we do, which is why we don't directly do work, we actually work with agencies. So we work, for instance, on Vodafone with Ogilvy. It's a deep, beautiful relationship we have with them. We do PPMs together. So we will say, you know the brand, I know the platform, let's sit together. We're all creative people in the room, and let's just jam and, you know, shoot some shit, and we'll come up with something even better than what you would have come up alone or what we would have done and gone. So we work with, I won't name all of them, but with lots of agencies. And that's a great model because that's how we will scale. Because physically it's not possible for me alone and 3 people or 4 people in my team to do the kind of work we want to get out. We want to just get out great work on the platform because that's the, and sometimes, yes, you have to try something it's never been done before. Even you don't know it, so you'll try and make it a lighthouse example and then say, hey, so agencies look at something that maybe we did and go, wow, that's possible? Okay, let me make that work for my brand. So that becomes a bit of an inspiration, hopefully.
So I guess that's fantastic news for pretty much everybody who's in the creative space to leverage the expertise that you have and, you know, sort of collaborate to do more for the clients. I have here a set of questions that the audience has asked, and I'm tasked with picking 3. And your task thereafter is going to be to pick the best one that you like, because that's going to get some moolah at the end of the question answer session. So let me just pick the one. Okay, I'll take a provocative one. It's being asked by Shaurodeep of Utopia. The question is, Facebook stories for brands, opportunity or farce?
I think it's a huge opportunity. We have to figure out, and that's the challenge for creative people, which is how do we tell stories with an awareness of how people are interacting with the platform? As opposed to telling stories in a way that we are used to telling stories, right? We are used to telling stories, for instance, in a linear way. We are used to telling stories for different formats, for a different medium. And I think my answer would be really simple, which is, like I said, we're sitting at that point in history or point in time where we have to figure out what's the new way to tell stories, or what's a way in which I can recalibrate or reimagine storytelling for knowing that that this is the way people consume, knowing that people have short attention spans, knowing that I can reach you directly and use all of these things that are available to me. So I would love to, I find, for instance, the example that I showed about the migrant, that's a beautiful story, and it's told on Facebook. The MJ Bale, the guy whose suit didn't get crushed, it was told on Facebook. So, you know, it was told, but it was a story told over 5 days with multiple posts, real time, updates from this dude who was just traveling. That's a story too, right? Except I didn't tell it like a 30-second TV ad. Does that help answer your question? Wherever you are?
I guess it does, because I mean the power of storytelling that you're sort of evangelizing really is the core of it. But I think something that you said is also embedded in the next question that I'm going to take up. It's been asked by this gentleman already, Jaspreet Sandhu from Sony Lovelex HD. The question is, given how crowded and cluttered Facebook and other social media platforms have become with its ads and banded content, etc., how effective is it to use these platforms to get through an audience with an extremely short attention span? So this whole CPA, continuous partial attention syndrome, how do you sort of cross the threshold and make a meaningful impact? So
I think the question first is, there is, we're using the word clutter, but there is a surfeit of content that is available to me. And that isn't just on Facebook. It's everywhere. We are no longer 2 TV channels. We have how many newspapers, how many TV channels, how much stuff online, which you have instant access to. So there's a couple of things that are happening, right? You have access to the whole world. You have access to so much content. That I'm the king. I decide you have to earn my attention. So and that's not going to change. That's not going to change. So we can question it, or we can evolve and adapt. So effectiveness is something we have lots of measurements and results for, and I won't get into all of that. But the point is, if you design stuff for mobile. If it's in my feed, for a great parallel actually, let's talk about newspapers. How do newspapers measure effectiveness? How many copies I sold? How much was my reach, right? How many households I reached? Great, and we bought that. I don't know if your ad was on page 22 and I never even saw it because I like to read just the sports section and the front page. So, what was that effective? No, but, so I'm not dissing any medium, I'm just saying that if you think of an impression or whatever language, jargon, whatever we use, like, so if it's on my feed and it was served to me, I will see it. How much will I stop is now up to you. If you design for feed, do a great job of it, have a good idea. Same thing, same principles apply to a TV channel. If I don't like your ad, I'll switch, right? There's a million other things to watch on TV. Or it's even worse because the TV is on and your ad is playing, but I'm actually on my phone. That happens too.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. So the last question, actually, the one that I pick up, actually takes on your self-confessed geekiness on science and also talks about the future. So this question is from Anand of Rubicon Communications. The question is, how can data and AI help brands to time the emotion of consumers online and communicate? How do you time the emotions of the consumers online and use AI to really communicate? I mean, I guess it's futuristic, but is there something in Facebook's
I didn't really
future?
understand it. How do you time it?
Yeah. So the question is, how can data and AI help brands to time the emotion of consumers online and communicate? So how do you sense whether, let's say, somebody on the Facebook is upset or whatever?
Yeah. So I think we have AI is a beautiful way, and I think we're still, we've started making some bots, and I like this fancy AI, but let's keep it real. Right now we're making bots. And the whole system, it is intuitive. There is ways in which you can, simple common sense, it sounds so data. But the truth is, it's really simple, right? What we used to call consumer insights, now you can get insights from real-time data. So it's this, you take those insights, you get a good planner on it to interpret those insights and say, oh, this is what this person is feeling, this is where they are, therefore I will serve them this kind of a communication or a creative ad. So using data to still tell human stories, or what we call emotionalizing data, is where the joy is. What I love as a creative person is to not get lost in all of the, there is all of this numbers, not my strong suit, but taking that data and then, so you can do you can do keyword searches, you can see we have something called Hot Topics, which is 100 things that are being discussed or posted about on Facebook, right? It's all private, but you'll get a sense of what the pattern is. Like, this is the temperature. People are talking right now about Sunny Leone, or they're talking about, right? Or everyone right now so that's there, but then the challenge is not that information is just information. To take that and interpret that with a planning head and a creative mind, what would you do with that is where I think I get excited, and that's where we all, I'm sure, can get, that's where you can then customize to what people are talking about. And AI is intuitive because even a bot will sense how you're feeling, and common sense as well. When I talk to you in the morning, if I'm talking to you on Friday at 5:30, I know you've probably been in traffic and you're feeling a certain way. So it's a little bit of common sense and a little bit of...
Fantastic. I guess that kind of wraps it up. It's fairly good insights and experiences that you shared, especially on way forward areas. I'd like you to pick a question that you think was perhaps the most interesting one to you.
Thank you. I don't need to see it. It's the data question. I love the...
AI question? Yep. All right. So Anand of Rubicon Communications, if you'd be so kind as to step up onto the stage.
Our last and final winner of Best Question. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. Sponsored by Yes Bank. He wins 25,000 rupees for that question. It has been an awesome last session. Very insightful indeed. Congratulations. May I request Pradeep to please present. Juhi, please request you to stay back on stage. Requesting Pradeep to present Juhi Kalia with a token of our appreciation for that wonderful session. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Juhi. Thank you, Pradeep.